It's now vitally important that we create a railway line which is fit for the 21st century.
It's a massive project which essentially is being built whilst the railway is kept running.
We've got the best project management team in the world, bar none.
This is the story of regular rail passenger Marie McCallan-Brown and Europe's largest engineering project, the modernisation of the West Coast Main Line. A multi-billion-pound scheme, the project will provide a safer, more reliable railway, with 125 miles per hour running by winter 2004. Of course, all that is music to the ears of the travelling public, but what impact is the work on the London to Glasgow route having, and what do people really think?
I've heard snippets from the news and read things in the newspaper, bits and bobs. But I think it's been going on we've heard things for so many years, it's not that I disbelieve it, but you kind of think, well, it's been going on for years now, and is anything really going to happen? I mean, this time last year it was taking anything up to 5 hours to get to London, and trains were being cancelled, but more recently things have improved. That's if you travel Monday to Friday. If you travel the weekend, then it's a nightmare, so I tend to avoid travelling the weekend.
So what is actually going on in the world of the West Coast? Over to the chairman of the Strategic Rail Authority and sponsor of the project, Richard Bowker.
It's one of the backbones of the country. It runs from London, the Midlands, the North West and on to Scotland. Some of the biggest conurbations in the whole of the country around Birmingham and Manchester and Liverpool. So it's absolutely vital for those regional economies and for London as well in terms of transporting goods and passengers between those places. It also is a hugely important freight corridor. It carries around just over 40% of the whole of the country's freight trains use the route. So in terms of providing modern, efficient communications between some of the most important places in the country, it's absolutely vital.
Built in the 1860s, the West Coast Main Line has developed into the UK's busiest mixed-traffic railway and is recognised as a leading European rail artery, responsible for over 2,000 train movements each day and carrying millions of passengers to their destinations. But time and the incredible demand on the line has taken its toll. With no significant investment since the 1960s, the route started to suffer, with an impact on reliability and performance. Now, with the advent of the West Coast Route Modernisation project, the tables have turned as thousands of engineering staff focus their attentions on revitalising this key rail route, fit for the 21st century and beyond.
It's a massive project which essentially is being built whilst the railway is kept running. The project has already delivered a number of major enhancements to this route. The Manchester Piccadilly reworking, we've got the same thing at Wealdstone, you've got the major works at Proof House which were delivered very successfully, and of course right behind us here in Euston the whole of this throat has been remodelled. That enables the operation of the railway to be carried out more effectively already.
Another West Coast project recently completed is the £11 million Rail Traffic Control Centre at Saltley near Birmingham, which will control signalling operations on the West Coast south of Crewe through to London. This is where we catch up with Marie McCallan-Brown, who visited the Saltley Centre, which also controls railway operations in the West Midlands.
It was absolutely huge, and I mean it's difficult to imagine because there are no people in there on workstations, but it does give, I think the buzz, it does give you kind of buzz when you walk in and see that, and potentially what would be going on, or to imagine what would be going on in that dome in the future.
But to successfully deliver the complete modernisation programme, a rethink of current engineering practices was needed, with the Strategic Rail Authority's West Coast strategy providing the solution, moving away from traditional weekend and midweek night working in favour of longer specifically targeted engineering works.
The West Coast strategy, which we led on, but the whole industry worked very closely together on, actually allows for growth of both passenger and freight. It's now vitally important that we create a railway line which is fit for the 21st century. That's what we're doing. It does mean that there's going to have to be some short-term disruption when we do that, and when it's done, then in September 2004 we'll have a railway line to be very proud of.
We've got the best project management team in the world, bar none, and I say that with absolute confidence. If we can't do it, nobody can do it.
From 2003 through to the introduction of the winter timetable in 2004, the West Coast project will be carrying out a series of major engineering works along the line of route, with train services diverted around the works or replaced by alternative road transport. Major schemes include Bourne End, north of Hemel Hempstead, during Easter and the August Bank Holiday 2003. A 5-month project from College Junction, south of Stafford, through to Cheadle Hulme from the 18th of May to the 27th of September 2003, which also includes the electrification of the Crewe to Kidsgrove line. Crewe to Norton Bridge in Staffordshire from September 2003 through to January 2004, and a 5-month programme of work from the 3rd of January to the 22nd of May 2004 between Crewe and Cheadle Hulme.
The idea of these diversions is to bring the project on stream for the travelling public much faster. We're saving approximately 2 years by doing a very intensive occupation of the railway, bringing huge amounts of plant. Already we've got a stockpile of ballast ready for this work, higher than the eye can see. Stockpiling sleepers, all these things coming together in a very intensive summer for 2003.
That's what the blockades really gain us, is this integration of all the systems required to get the works into the ground in one. It allows us the time to plan it properly, get it in the ground properly, test it, and bring it back up in commissioning for passenger service, and I think they'll be quite happy with it in the long run.
And to ensure that the travelling public are well served during the major works, the industry has put in place a comprehensive passenger handling plan, as demonstrated on the route between College and Cheadle Hulme, where long-distance services will be diverted via Crewe, adding only a few minutes to journey times. Local services will in turn be replaced by high-quality coach and bus services, with all local stations remaining open for business. And throughout all of these planned improvements, a special Manchester to London train service will also operate via the East Midlands, providing an additional north-south connection right through to summer 2004, running into St Pancras.
We acknowledge that changing onto a bus service isn't great because the railway is a very much better service with its dedicated paths. But why am I confident that this will work? Well, the main reason is because we've tried it. We have had about 200 buses moving people, and the reaction from the passengers has been very good. We've interviewed them, talked to them in great detail about what their experiences have been, and in general they regret the time, but the service that's been put in is excellent, and we're going to do that again.
Freight will also continue to run during the major works, with electrification and gauge enhancement providing alternative routes. During this period, customers can plan new long-term services, and diversionary routes will bring lasting benefits as they've been enhanced to take freight services. Now the challenge for the West Coast continues, with the whole industry working together to deliver a safer, faster and more reliable rail system.
It's a side that I hadn't imagined really existed, and to have the opportunity, obviously not many people have the opportunity to look round and see this side of train travel and what goes on behind the scenes. But actually I feel quite privileged actually to see this, and it's quite reassuring to actually see how money's being spent